Estevao is the future of Brazil. This boy is the one that will bring glory back to that great footballing nation of Brazil. He's too good. At the age of 18, you went to a new country, playing English football, and you are deciding a game versus Liverpool in the very last minute. You now come to international break for your country and you are scoring 2 goals at the age of 18. We all thought that Rodrigo would be the heir to Neymar's throne. We thought Vinicius at one point. Many players have come and gone. But I'm telling you, this is the Estevao. He might be the one that will lead Brazil to that World Cup because this boy is ridiculous. You, wait there. This video is sitting on your body, Abi. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, and share immediately. This is the only way you can support this channel for free and support me for free. Oh yeah, continue enjoying the video. Vinicius was amazing today. Rodrigo was amazing today, but I was particularly impressed by him. Why? His movement of the ball. See, when you watch Neto for Chelsea and watch Estevao, you see the difference in IQ. He's a very intelligent player. Go and check how he scored his first goal today. Bruno Guimaraes made the pass, but he was already on the move. Beautiful pass from Guimaraes, and he slotted in it with his right foot. He's not a one-footed player. That is one thing we know of Brazilians. They are very good. They can be pedal. They can function well with both feet. And with his right foot, he placed that goal. Second goal as well. It was with his left foot. What did that come from? He's pressing. He's a hard-working player. He doesn't just rely on his talent. He pressed, he won the ball back and put away with his left foot. Composure at the age of 18.
Once you came.
Yeah, that's an interesting question because no, he probably wasn't because I was expecting him to play much more in the Palmer role. But when he came on, I mean, he had 26 touches in this game. He came on in the 75th, 76th minute. If you work that out just mathematically over, that would have been 100 touches if he played 90 minutes, which is unheard of for a wide player or a number 10. But what he managed to do when he came on because of that movement was almost do both jobs, which was really, really impressive. So he dragged Robertson out to that side when it went wide, and then when the ball was in the pocket positions, he managed to get himself in there, which meant then the fullback could go up the outside, which at that stage was Malo Gusto because he had moved back into the right back position. He also had the benefit, I should say, at that stage of Lavia and Caicedo in midfield, which meant that Gusto can be knocked on and then he can move inside. But perhaps not. But I mean, with that ability, it doesn't really matter where you play him. I mean, honestly, I think in certain tight games, they could play him as a false 9 if they wanted to, because they could drop into positions. He can absolutely play in the Cole Palmer position and obviously off the right-hand side as an impact player. Just as I said at the start, wow. Yeah,
it's absolutely wonderful, isn't it, seeing a fan base fall in love with a youngster quite so quickly as the Chelsea fans have. Look, Dino, one player who, to be fair, took a little bit more warming up after an extremely mega money move, or an extreme mega money move, even from Brighton all that time ago now. Moises Caicedo, come on, feel the Moyes, is your nice little musical headline for this one. An absolute wonder goal to kick off proceedings at Stamford Bridge. Absolutely sold Virgil van Dijk for a Burton with that dummy before whacking it top bins, as the kids say. What a performance, though, aside from just the goal.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come on to Virgil van Dijk another day, maybe, because I feel like I need to do a whole show on Virgil van Dijk. Watch this space.
Be careful.
Yeah, but let's concentrate on Moises Caicedo getting the plaudits he deserves. I mean, that was a 10 out of 10 for me. I don't think he did anything wrong in the whole game. Yep. He was involved in everything. Goal, move, interceptions, the position, right? I heard a coach talking about this when I had the privilege of watching a high-level session, and he called it goes and toes. And this is where you've got a midfielder who's in exactly the right position, so that if the ball gets played and he can go for the interception, he goes. And because he's not far from different to you, to me away, a couple more yards, the ball gets played, he can go. And then if he's not in that position to go, the ball doesn't get played in there, he's blocking off the toes of the centre forward. Okay. So he's in such a good position that he can go one way or go the other way. And he just did it all afternoon. And I was rewinding it when I was going through the research, thinking there's 2 of him. Yeah. There is 2 of him, and there wasn't. It was, so there's only 2 Moises Caicedos the Chelsea fans should be singing, I think, because he was absolutely everywhere. I mean, we could do his heat map, but it'd probably cover the whole pitch. You look at the touch map, it was everywhere, right back, centre back. And there was this one moment where, I should pull out 2 moments. One in defensive positions where Liverpool got the overload on the left-hand side. The centre-backs got spread out a little bit from Chelsea. And Caicedo was there for a cutback from Gakpo, and he just took it off Isak and went away. Unbelievable engine, obviously, in position. And then the second one was the build-up to the winner. Now, the pass that he played was, if Estevao or Cole Palmer had done it, we'd have been going, wow. The ball gets played into him in a tight position. He's obviously already looked and seen that he's dragged 2 Liverpool players towards him, and he knows where Lavia is. And he just plays this blind ball over his shoulder, which, I mean, a holding midfield player shouldn't have the right to do something like that. And it kind of got overlooked because Chelsea are then on the counter-attack and then they go. So, yeah, he was just sensational, right? And the thing with the goal, and look, it was a great strike. And as you say, the little dummy that he gave, which meant that Van Dijk went across where Gusto was running into that space. Van Dijk should block that, right? He should be out for the block.
Should block the shot.
Absolutely. Shouldn't be thinking about the man running, because that should be your left-back's man. Like, he should go out to block.
But
take nothing away from the strike.
He's trying to do both, right? Let me just play devil's advocate.
But then he does neither.
Yeah.
So make a decision, one or the other. And if he'd have gone over to the winger, maybe Konate would have come out and tried to block it, because the knock-on effect is that. But look, let's not take anything away from the strike. But look, in the build-up to the goal, this was a set move. This had come straight off the training ground. They did something very similar to Liverpool last season. It didn't quite work. We'll come on to the box midfield thing in a moment. But what we've got, and look in this, is Enzo Fernandez takes Gravenberch for an absolute ride, brings him out of the position, and then that means that they're overloaded in the midfield, okay? And so that means that Badiashile can play the ball into midfield, and then Caicedo sees the space and can bounce off and take the ball through. And where they normally have 4 men in there, Chelsea, they've made it with 3. As I say, we'll come on to that in a moment. But they've just completely sold the Liverpool midfield up a garden path, and straight after it, I mean, the great thing for me is, I think we've got a grab of this as well, is that Enzo Fernandez is celebrating Caicedo's goal before Caicedo has a shot. And it's absolutely fantastic from Chelsea. They know it's a set move. The bench all celebrates together. The guys with the iPads were up. And yeah, just capped. Well, it was early in the game, but Caicedo's performance, as I say, 10 out of 10.
Coaching staff having iPads on the bench, utter woke nonsense, Dino. Making ends meet. You've mentioned Enzo Fernandez, of course. There he is celebrating. That before that goal went in, like you mentioned. We've also got Enzo Maresca on the bench, sent off. Such were the passionate nature of his celebrations at the death. But too right, I think Gary Neville said it right. He said, if you're going to get sent off for anything, that's what to do it for, celebrating a goal. But making ends meet, which one do you want to focus on first?
Yeah, I want to say, obviously, credit to the manager for this, but I really feel like he's a polarising figure, Enzo Fernandez. You meet Chelsea fans who just don't think he's good enough. He's a World Cup winner, but he doesn't do enough in play. And you meet Chelsea fans who perhaps watch the game a little bit.
This genius, Estevao, was just incredible. I'm so thrilled with the result. We're going to talk about Estevao, and that actually leads us into our first talking point. Jack, let's talk about the brilliant Brazilian.
Where do you want to start? I mean, fantastic moment for him. We've sort of been waiting for that. He came in pre-season, didn't he? And looked really sharp in those 2 games, a short pre-season. Obviously, he was with Palmeiras still at the Club World Cup, so still had that half on, half off summer that most of the Chelsea squad did. But there's been a lot of excitement about him building up ever since it was known that he would be arriving. All these comparisons to Messi, Neymar, anyone like that, the level of player that Chelsea are getting. And then I think from the fans, there's been an itching to see him in even more, but the coaches have got to play a really smart balancing game, really, of whether you throw him in, whether you put him back, because it can be so easy to throw a player like this straight in, burn them out, and you don't see the best of them.
Yeah.
We saw the best of him coming off the bench. I mean, even before the goal, which is a huge moment for him. It feels like a big moment for the squad and the club and the manager this season. We'll get on to that. But even before then, the introduction of him and Gittins on either wing just turned it up a little bit, and he really influenced the game, which for such a young player playing against the champions for a big club is a fantastic moment.
Felt like a real turning point for him. So do you think now he's had this kind of burst onto the scene moment,
And Enzo Maresca could have made the decision that, you know, we just need to sit in here, but he didn't. He brought on Gittins, he brought on Estevao, and he went, okay, let's go. And what that did in the game, tactically, was meant Robertson was getting a lot of joy going forward after he came on for Milos Kerkez, and Liverpool was squeezing the game up on Chelsea. And instead of going, okay, let's mark Robertson, bring on someone a little bit more defensive, he went, no, I tell you what, let's get Robertson marking someone go the other way. And we'll show a perfect grab of that scenario where Robertson's thinking, I want to go forward. Konate and Van Dijk are in decent positions, but because Estevao's come on, they cannot go into that position there. So first of all, hat tip to Enzo Maresca for that. Secondly, this lad, I mean, wow. I mean, he is 18 years old. He's born in 2007. Makes you feel a bit sick, doesn't it? But look, we can go on all day, which I won't, about his touch, his skills, his delivery for that Enzo Fernandez header at the back post was just magic. But the thing that I've picked out, which is really, really key, and Cole Palmer does this a little bit, is this magic move into space. It's like the Samba spaceman, I think is what it is. I talked about when I was growing up, and there were certain players who did this, and the one I always pick out is Eric Cantona. Right. So it's this ability to move the opposite way that the game goes and still get the ball. And that sounds really odd, right? But I'll show a couple of occasions it happens and try and explain it with our graphic, where the ball's about to go over to the left, let's just say, maybe through the midfield or out the other side. It happened before his goal, it happened for his goal. And the game naturally, obviously, drifts in that direction. And the natural instinct from most players is to get back into those positions. So the back four goes across, the left back moves across, the midfield comes in. What he does is just drift backwards into a little position where he can go in all directions. Yeah. So if the ball comes back the other way, yeah, give it to my feet. If the ball comes across midfield, drift back out onto the wing, that side. The ball goes out to where it was crossed from, he's got the space to attack in front of him. And look, I know you do, and the people who go and watch Premier League football close up every week.
His goal scoring, when you look at it among his peers, I think he has one of the best goal scoring. I think in front of goal, he's better than many around his age in the entire world. Because his finishing impresses me every single time. Comfortable in tight spaces, dribbling is very well. I mean, he's bringing joy back to the Brazilians. And I'm telling you, this boy, will be talking about him in the best of the world. In that bracket, that's where he deserves to be. And today, in general, Brazil was a 5-star performance. They all did so well today. Rodrigo, I've said it, you are too good to be on the bench of Madrid or any team at all. Look at the liquid football Brazil was playing. Vinicius to Casemiro. Rodrigo now let the ball pass through his leg. Then Casemiro now gave it back to Rodrigo, and Rodrigo placed it. I mean, that goal was absolutely beautiful. Then Rodrigo scored the second goal too. Another beautiful finish. And then Cunha passed it to Vinicius. Beautiful pass from Cunha, and then Vinicius made the run. And then Vinicius with the composure. I mean, that cut back to then finish it. It was a beautiful display from Brazil. I mean, today felt like I was watching Brazil. There was one point where Paqueta and Rodrigo were doing some kind of beautiful jogger bonito. Today I felt like I was watching jogger bonito, not jogger vomito. The nonsense that Brazil has been producing in recent times. And that is one thing to Carlo Ancelotti. Why did you have to be the one to get these boys? I'm so jealous right now. I mean, watching this boy today, I was like, yes, this is a proper talent. This is what I want from young footballers. I want that hunger. I want that desire. I want you to know that you are young, but I still want you to be bold. I want you to be brave. The experience he plays with, he knows when to release a pass, when to dribble. You know, he's just very, very smart for his age. I'm thoroughly. See, Estevao, you can look at him as one for the future. But I think, yes, he's one for the future because his future is very bright. But I think his present is even very bright. His future is brighter, but his present is bright. So it's not one that I will say, keep on the bench for him to be developing. No, football has changed. Football is not like before where you wait for the player is 25, 26 before they enter their prime. Estevao from now has a lot to offer for Chelsea. For him to be on the bench. I look at those Chelsea forwards and I don't see any of them that are even better than him on the wings. None of them. Right now, he's Chelsea's best winger. Palmer doesn't play as a winger anymore. But if Palmer was on the wings, yes, I'll look at Palmer. But I think he's better than the likes of Garnacho, Neto, Gittins, all those guys. I think Estevao starts above them. And I think Enzo Maresca has to trust him more. Because he has shown the composure, he has shown the maturity. Scoring a goal late like that in a game of that magnitude, My brother, it's never that easy. Estevao is not today. There's a reason why Chelsea ran to go and buy him for that amount at the age of 17. He has been doing it in Brazil. The hype has been there. And the hype, we thought, okay, it might die because it's the Brazilian league or something like that. But it has transcended into the Premier League. It has transcended into Chelsea. Even the Chelsea, he caught them at the Club World Cup. He pasted them. A beautiful goal with his weaker foot again. So this brother's chain is very real. He's legit. He's not a phony. He's not a fraud. I know, yes, carrying the mantle of Brazil is going to be one that is tough. I don't think anybody can carry it, but I think he can be one of the main shining stars. He can be one of those players that will be very integral to bring hope back to Brazil as a footballing nation. Because let's not lie, for about 20 years or so, Brazil has been underwhelming. No World Cups since 2002. I mean, it has to be better. It has to be better. Unfortunately, that Neymar could not do it, but we all know that Neymar deserves to do it. Watching Neymar, he deserves to do it, but many things happened, many things occurred. Right now, I think it will be less of an individual thing, but as a team, I think Estevao can be the figurehead. Now, to you, Rodrigo, you are too good to be sitting on that Madrid bench. Have some balls and have some shame and get up and go on a loan or go to another club. I saw that you love Madrid. In your recent interview, you even came out and said, I love Madrid. As long as they want to keep me here, I'll stay here. Bro, you are too good. I've seen talent in this guy. He's more than just a winger. He's this kind of player that can function in any part of the pitch. Put Rodrigo at number 8, he will not look out of place. He knows how to adapt to any part of the pitch. He can pass, he can score, he can dribble. Like, look at the goal he scored today, that first goal. The little touch before he finished. That's what I want from my winger.
He did obviously really well against West Ham as well when Chelsea beat them earlier in the season.
That never really counts though with this West Ham.
That's true also. Do you think he now comes into the starting 11, and what does he have to do for Maresca in order to become one of those players in the same way that Cole Palmer did? And Maresca compared him to Cole Palmer in the build-up to the Liverpool game, saying he's very similar to what Palmer was like when he coached him at City. Do you think he now comes in and establishes himself as that first choice right wing option?
I'm going to upset you. I wouldn't be starting.
Don't do it, Jack, please.
I wouldn't be starting him anytime soon. I think this balance they've got that I was talking about is perfect for him. He's such a young player. You speak to anyone, whether you interview a player, a manager, coaches at any level that have come either from the Championship into the Premier League or from overbroad into the Premier League, from overseas into the Premier League. There's such a step up, not in technical or tactical level, that's at a fairly high level everywhere. It's the sort of brute force and physicality. Everywhere there's intense running and hard work. Nowhere like the Premier League are you getting hit by a couple of buses a match, and that's what you're coming up against. And I think Estevao did incredibly well coming on, but he was up against a Liverpool team that are only not unsure of themselves, had flown to Istanbul and back in the week. Were getting towards the end of the game, trying to maybe chase something but also hold themselves together. He was up against a fullback in Andy Robertson that ended up with an injury as well. I think he's in this perfect position now where you just keep, reining him in a bit, keep him hungry for it, and have that impact off the bench. They've got so many options out wide, which is something we should dive into as well in terms of who the best two wingers to start are at the moment. He makes an incredible impact off the bench. He's such a good weapon to throw in, and you don't have that pressure at the moment for an 18-year-old to be starting, delivering, having to do it. I think you can, a teenager's career is going to have so many peaks and troughs, especially at an early stage. We've seen it with Cole Palmer. Incredible drops off because so much is asked of him. You don't want to be putting Estevao in that situation so early in his Chelsea career.
That's a very sensible viewpoint. My emotional
just throw him in
view is just get him in there. He's amazing. Just give him the chance to go and shine. But let's talk about a man right here, Moises Caicedo. For those of you watching, you can see him here. I spoke to him after the Liverpool game. He was incredible in that game. So good. That rocket from outside the box was insane. One of the best goals Chelsea will score all season. I hope not, but it will be. He said he wants to emulate Kante and Makelele in his time at Chelsea. He said he wants to become a legend here. He's already well on his way to becoming that. There's been a lot of debate online between him and Declan Rice. I obviously have somewhat of a bias between the two, but you don't. So what are your views on who's
He's a
better
fantastic
between
player. I think to say he's a long way away, a long way towards becoming a legend, I think is quite generous. He was very good last season. He's made a very good start to this season.